Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 32 female, have been married to a 40-year-old male for 2 years. He brought 2 kids into the marriage, and I have one of my own. We don't have any children together. My husband was previously married and has been divorced for about a decade. His kids live with their mother nearby, like 20 minutes away. Initially, she showed some petty behavior, but nothing major. She's very entitled and judgmental. She often makes snide remarks about me working too much, etc. She would make contrasting statements about me and my husband's marriage compared to hers, to the point where one day, I told her that her relationship with my husband was over and she needed to move on. My husband backed me up and she stopped her ways. I honestly don't think she is over him, but that has nothing to do with me. She's unemployed since getting fired 15 years ago and relies on her kids to get more time and money from my husband. She's been unwell lately, not managing her health effectively, and has been using her condition to collect sympathy points from my husband, asking him to be there at doctor's appointments. Of course, to watch the kids while she's there. Asking him for rides constantly because she doesn't feel safe driving. She always wants to tag along when we take the kids out. She has a boyfriend, by the way. Lately, she has been suggesting to my husband that she isn't well enough to take care of her children. Right now, they have shared custody, and they are with us every other weekend and during school vacations. She told my husband that I should sell my house, which I bought before we met, to downgrade and buy a smaller home and build her a tiny house on the land close to us to provide more support for the kids and her. I was flabbergasted that he would even mention this to me. I couldn't understand why I needed to sell my house to accommodate her. I offered to have the kids live with us, but she declined, stating that she prefers to stay close to the kids and doesn't trust us to raise them. She has a boyfriend and family nearby, but insists on receiving care only from us, even saying that my husband made vows to her before he made vows to me. I feel totally disrespected, don't want to sell my house, and don't want to have a grown woman freeloading off of me. I believe she should rely on her existing support system. Some of my in-laws say I'm just being selfish and don't need such a big house anyway. My husband hasn't expressed anything either way, which is annoying. I want to stand my ground, but I'm starting to feel like an a-hole because she is sick. OP's husband's ex is extremely manipulative and needs to be put in her place. This behavior will only get worse as she ages. OP's husband needs to put his foot down and end this circus. If she isn't well enough to care for the children, custody needs to be transferred to OP's husband. But I guess ex-wife doesn't want that, because in that case, she would lose child support. And now let's hear the community's opinion. C. LaRue says, "This is extremely weird. Your husband needs to be 100% on your side. He needs to shut this down now. Not you, him. Otherwise, he's in on it. And you really need to look at this as a you versus everyone else problem. Not the a-hole for not wanting to help your husband's ex. Any family members who call you selfish can step up and take care of her." Trails Yeah says, "Not the a-hole. Your in-laws are gross, and so is your husband. What a bunch of freeloaders, and that includes your husband at this point." Chocolate Candy Bar says, "Not the a-hole. This woman is weaponizing her health in order to get into your business. She was doing the same before being ill, so her health has no meaning in this. But husband and even family are showing their true colors, and this is something you should consider." Edit. I think I need to stand my ground here. I'll speak with him tonight and we'll update. I'm really tired of his ex and don't think she should be the main character in our lives anymore. I want to put this here because a lot of people have been asking why my husband won't speak up. This was my response to post. He says he doesn't want to be a deadbeat father because his father was, and she often threatens to not let him see them. Even at our wedding, she would not allow the kids to be there unless she was also invited. Update. I spoke to my husband and told him that there was absolutely no way I was going to sell my house. I told him that my house was an investment, that I planned to one day pass it to my child as an asset. That he and his parents and his ex are dead wrong for suggesting I sell it. I said that if his parents have something to say, then they can build a tiny home for her on their 10 acres of land. He agreed and said he's been feeling bad that he was entertaining the idea, but his ex was guilting him because of her condition. She has MS. I told him that he will no longer be supplementing her lifestyle and no more running errands. I am his wife, and I should be priority. I told him that he has to call her in front of me and tell her this. He called her and told her that he will no longer be used as a placeholder for her boyfriend, and she needs to stop trying to manipulate everyone. She said it was unfortunate that I was acting insecure and that I was interfering with their healthy co-parenting relationship. She said that I was young and immature and should consider their kids, and she knew that this would happen one day. I told her that she needs to get off her lazy butt and take care of herself and her kids and stop freeloading off everyone. I told her that she needed to focus her attention on her current relationship because that is her best shot at a decent future because we are pulling back effectively immediately. She immediately started crying and said she was feeling sick and needs to go to the emergency room and needed to end the conversation to protect herself and her health. We couldn't really get into outlining all the boundaries before she just hung up and blocked both of us. I typed out an email and copied all parties involved and sent it to her. I'm so mad right now, I'm seeing red. I'm in my mid-60s and have 7 kids, all adults, 4 daughters, 3 sons. I grew up in a very poor family and have worked incredibly hard my entire life to provide for my family, working 50-plus hours a week and investing every spare dollar into blue chips. As a result, my entire estate is well worth over $10 million. Now, to the topic of my post. 3 of my kids are proud child-free adults. Not only do they not want kids, they actively celebrate it. I believe there's even a Reddit dedicated for it. Now, if they don't want to experience the joys of being parents, that's for them to decide. I'm not going to coerce them into having kids they don't want. With that said, I provided all my kids an immensely comfortable childhood. I've put them all through college. I basically gave them the best chance to starting out in life. Now that they're all grown up, I want to help raise the next generation of grandkids and provide for them as much as possible. So the situation is, 1. I have 3 kids who are proud child-free and genuinely boast about how much extra money they have. 2. I have 4 kids who have started raising families, intending to have more kids, and will actually need the money. I don't want to leave a large sum of my hard-earned money to my kids who will simply spend it all on their child-free life. I only want it to go to my kids who are actually raising a family. So I want to cut the 3 out of my will almost entirely, leaving a small amount to help with their mortgages. I already anticipate they're going to throw a hissy fit, so I'm not sure if I should go through with it. Would I be an a-hole for doing this? Looks like OP is asking people to respect his choices when he doesn't respect theirs. OP is clearly not happy that some of his kids don't want children, and it's reading as he is punishing them for not following the script that OP wants. OP needs to split money in equal parts if he doesn't want to create a rift between his children and be disowned by his children himself. Del Boy says, "You're the a-hole. While your money is yours to dispose of as you see fit, this plan will set off a nuclear bomb in your family once the will is read. There will be jealousies between winners and losers. Is this what you want to leave behind as your legacy? As an alternative, you could allocate some money to each child and some to each grandchild, accomplishing to some extent what you want to achieve, and keep all your children equal." Sarah Loverock says, "You're the a-hole. You're basically saying you value 3 of your kids less than the others, just because of life choices they made. If my parents did that, I'd be incredibly hurt." All Larry's Daniela says, "You're the a-hole. It's blatant favoritism. I don't care what you call it, but you're going to have a bad time if you try to explain it to your offspring like you did here. It's an a-hole move to cut someone out of your will when they haven't done anything wrong to you. P.S. Child-free people can be poor too." Update. After I was overwhelmingly judged an a-hole, I decided to go about it in a fairer way. Told my kids of my plans as I didn't want it to be a surprise when I passed away. My new plan was to 1. Leave each of my kids $500K cash to pay off any debt or mortgage and maybe treat themselves. 2. Use $6 million to set up trusts for grandkids and future great-grandkids. 3. Donate the rest, approximately $6 million, to charity to honor my late friend. My childbearing kids took the news well and thanked me for making sure their kids and grandkids wouldn't have to stress about money. My child-free kids did not take the news well, accused me of being emotionally aggressive, manipulative, and that their inheritance shouldn't be tied in any way to having kids. I explained it wasn't. They'd get $500K regardless of whether they have kids or not. They disagreed and said that some of that trust money should go to them, since the grandkids would inevitably spend some of it on their parents. Really disappointed in their behavior, to be honest. Only in 2019 could you be called emotionally aggressive for leaving someone $500K in your will. One of my child-free kids didn't push the issue and ultimately said he understood. The other two basically disowned me as their father and said some incredibly hurtful things. I don't plan on cutting them out of my will, but I really hope they come around and grow up a bit. Background. My twin sister, 30 female. We will call her Coco. We're never close growing up. At the age of 18, I left the country to fly back to our home country as I was having a hard time at home. After 6 months, I returned home and started my life. I never really understood how credit and credit scores worked and started learning. That's when I learned that Coco has taken out a credit card and phone on my credit, my name. I went to my parents as I did not know for sure who it was at first and knew that my mom had my social insurance card, and I wanted to know if she had done it, and she assured me that it wasn't her. I happened to be talking to a friend. She was also friends with Coco, and I mentioned to her what was happening, and she decided to help me figure it out. She called me the next day and mentioned that she remembered Coco having the same credit card that was on my account, and remembered her getting a phone for her cousin that Coco happened to be dating at the time. As soon as she told me about that, I went to my mom and told her, and she told me she will talk to Coco and get it cleared up. Shocker. It never happened. I had to call credit card company and tell them it wasn't mine, and prove to them I was not in the country at the time the card was open, and it was removed. Fast forward to last year. I was getting ready to move to another condo. I was declined. Seeing as I knew the landlord, call her Bree, I spoke with her and asked her why I was declined. And she was honest and told me my credit score was very low. Bree even showed me the report that showed all the items. And let's just say Coco was very busy over the years. 10 years, getting different loans. I was pissed and hurt. I wanted to give Coco a chance to own up, so I called a family meeting. Coco never showed, but I told my parents everything I found, how I felt, and what I was going to do. Report to the credit bureau that the loans weren't mine, and I needed it removed. My parents again told me they will get her to take care of it. I wait 2 months, and nothing was done. I called the bureau and started the process of getting it removed. Here comes the bad part. Because I reported that it was not my loans, it was reported as fraud. The companies then contacted Coco to let her know that she was being investigated for fraud. My parents called me once Coco told them, and they were pissed at me and told me I had to call them and stop the investigation. I said no, and that I was disappointed they were taking her side. They called and yelled at me some more, and now I have blocked them and told them not to call or text me anymore. I want nothing to do with them until the investigation is over. So am I the a-hole for cutting them out? OP gave a lot of chances for her parents to sort it out. They wanted OP to let her life be screwed up in favor of her sisters. I think OP should really confront them and ask why they favor or love her more than OP, and why they think her future is more important than OP's. Coco didn't care about OP's future. She committed a series of crimes in OP's name, and what, she really thought she was going to get away with that? Well, she was delusional, I think. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Michuru809 says, not the a-hole. File a police report. Coco didn't care about your future when she was taking out all these credit cards and loans in your name and not paying for them. You have an obligation to protect yourself. And put a lock on your credit. Once you've been a victim of identity theft, you'll probably spend the rest of your life dealing with whatever she gets up to. Supercorpse1 says, not the a-hole. She shouldn't have made a credit card account without your knowledge, used it, and messed up your credit score. Do what you need to do. It's your life she's messing up, and if you getting your life in order means that hers gets messed up, so be it. Shouldn't have happened in the first place. Ornery Calendar says, why do parents always protect the thief? I do not understand. Anyway, not the a-hole. Good decision. She's now into an investigation. Your parents are useless a-holes. Let them yell, scream, and find you an a-hole. You don't care. Go no contact. They do not deserve any goodwill from you. Coco ducked around and found out. So, I'm in a strange situation. For background, I used to date my ex-girlfriend Kate about 2 years ago. Our relationship ended on a sour note when I found out she was cheating on me. She became distant, glued to her phone, and eventually I caught her essing another guy under a fake name. When I confronted her and asked her why, she brushed it off with a, "Since you know, it doesn't matter now," before walking away. It was a pretty crap time of my life. Recently, my cousin Tony announced his engagement to Kate. Although we're not that close, we do keep in touch occasionally. I knew he had a girlfriend, but I had no idea he was dating Kate until their engagement announcement. Tony reached out to me, asking if I could photograph their wedding. It seemed that's how Kate connected the dots and realized Tony and I are related. She sent me a text, pleading with me to let go of the past and not tell Tony about our history. According to her, revealing the truth would ruin Tony's life. Honestly, I wasn't going to talk about it, but her text felt very strange to me. But I feel very complicated about this. My sister and my girlfriend are saying that Tony deserves to know the truth. They believe it's unfair for him to enter a marriage without knowing Kate's history with me, as we are family. I've moved on from the relationship. It's been 2 years, and I don't want to dredge up old drama. Plus, there's the fear of backlash. What if Tony doesn't believe me? What if he blames me for ruining his happiness? Tony is a genuinely kind and caring person, and I don't want to hurt him. And then there's the rest of the family to consider. My mom and aunt, Tony's mom, are extremely close, and I don't want to strain their relationship with this. But I also feel if I were in Tony's shoes, I would want to know. It feels unfair to let him walk into a marriage blindfolded, especially if there's a chance he could be hurt the same way I was. And despite my suspicions about Kate's character, Tony is genuinely in love with her. So would I be the a-hole if I tell him about Kate? The CDN says, if I were him, I'd definitely want to know, especially since you're family. The fact that she said it would ruin his life is disconcerting. It's more likely that it would ruin her life. Here's a good way out of this for you, but your sister has to agree. Get your sister to tell him as if she's doing it of her own volition, and you don't know anything. Because she's a woman, almost nobody in your family will blame her. She's just being a caring cousin, big sister for Tony. Plus, she agrees that Tony should know anyway. Either way, he would know before the marriage. Like you said, if he ends up getting cheated on, once a cheater, always a cheater, you'll feel even worse for not speaking up. The Ghost Reborn says, Tony is a genuinely kind and caring person, and I don't want to hurt him. Do you not want to hurt him, or do you not want him to get hurt? Because you can be the cause of some pain for him now, and save him a huge amount of pain later. Or you can stand back and let him get hurt on his own. If she had changed, if she was a good person now, she would have already told Tony everything already. She's not. Save him. What the Moxley says. You would not be the a-hole because she texted you and told you not to say anything. Screenshot and cover your butt.